How's it going, everybody? My name is John Culver. I'm from the 46th Legislative District, and I'm a member of the Tech Committee, and I'm here to talk about using GitHub. GitHub is a great tool for collaboration. It lets people work on the same project at the same time, ideally without stepping on each other's toes as we're all making these changes. If you've ever been on an email thread where everyone is sending around different versions of a Word document, this is exactly the sort of problem that GitHub is designed to work around and alleviate for organizations that work together. It can manage the changes to documents over time in a really friendly fashion. You can submit changes to things, and you can look at the history of stuff and make comments on people's contributions, and a bunch of other good stuff. It's a really great tool. Often used for managing code for developers like me, but also useful for managing data in one central place. And we're going to look at a case of the latter. Mr. Rob Dolan has set up a code repository, a repo, of Washington State Democratic Party organization data. So he's got a file linking out different organizations and their website and their Facebook presence and social media presence and things like that. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to see if we can make some changes and contribute to it. And we're going to create a pull request so we can submit those changes in a neat and orderly fashion. So let's go. Okay, so we are looking at the Washington Dems repo of data. This has a few good things in it. The one I'm going to look at is called orgs. Now, this has a file. This is a file full of data about different democratic organizations. This syntax may not look familiar to many of you, but it's a thing called JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's a way to represent data, and it's a common set of attributes. So each of these little blobs, each of these objects represents a local democratic group. You can see under type that talks about different types. These are LDs, or legislative districts. And between the short and the full, we can tell which specific organization each one refers to. So this first one is the first, so the first legislative district Democrats. This one down here is the second, so on and so forth. There's a bunch of them, one for every LD and one for every county. And contained in that is data about that particular organization. So you can see Rob's laid out here a property called org-web. That's their URL of their website. Org Facebook page, FB page. That's their page on Facebook. He's also got an org FB group, because pages and groups are different things, and that's the Facebook group URL there. TW alias is Twitter alias. And then officers, bylaws, and endorsements. And those are just different URLs for those respective pages on their website. So a link straight to their officers page, their board members, straight to their bylaws as an organization, and straight to the endorsements they'll be making in the 2016 election. So we're going to walk through how to make changes to this. If I have something that I want to add, how do I go about doing that? So this is Rob's repository, and for all intents and purposes, Rob is sort of the king of this data. Now, I can make changes to it. I can propose updates, making a thing called a pull request, hoping that he will pull in those changes, requesting that he pull in those changes. But this is sort of his copy, and if I want to make edits to it, I'll be essentially making a copy of that for my own, making changes, and then submitting that changed copy to him. So we'll go through that now. So if I wanted to add a org to this orgs file, I'm going to come over here to this pencil icon. It says fork this project and edit this file. Now, forking it means that you're creating a separate copy of it that you can work on, and editing is what we're out to do. You can think of the fork like a fork in the road. It's going a different route for a little bit, but we will get it back to Rob's repo repository soon. So we'll click this sign, or we'll click this pencil here, click edit, and it says, great, you're editing this project, and we've created a fork of this project, like I mentioned. We will commit our changes to it, and then submit those changes in a pull request. Awesome. So while I was doing some perusing, I noticed that the 44th Dems had a social page, and looks like they have a Facebook group called Friends of 44th District Democrats. Okay, great. That might be a good thing to add to Rob's repo here. So I'm going to scroll on down. Let's see if we can find this. Nope, 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 nope. I'm trying to do a find. Search for a 44. Here we go. Okay, 44th LD. Great. And this is JSON, which is a little nerdy, but it's basically a way to store different values about a thing. In this case, a legislative district group. So we'll put a comma after that guy. And since this is a Facebook group, yes, it's a group, we'll add a key called orgfb group. Now this is just keeping Rob's syntax from earlier. So he decided to call this property org.fb group. So we'll keep that and use the same format. Okay, so we're defining the 44th FB group. I've got this copied, and we're going to put that in quotes and paste that in. And so I've made this change to sort of this file here, but I haven't saved it yet. So I'm going to propose this file change. And what they ask is part of a good commit or a good pull request is to describe what you changed or why you changed it in some cases. So I'll say adding 44th LD Facebook group. And I can get extra bonus points by adding a description here saying where I found it. So I'll go here, I'll copy, and I'll say found on 44th LD website social page. Great. Propose this file change. And yeah, this is where I'm going to create my pull request with that. Okay, so I have made my change on my local copy, and to formally submit that to Rob, to his main copy here. This is kind of technical nerdy stuff, but basically I'm going to click create pull request. And it's going to copy over my same notes from that commit I had. That all looks good. And we'll click create pull request. Okay, great. Now, Rob, since he is the maintainer of this repository, he's going to see that I want to merge in this change, this commit that I've submitted to him. So he can go in here. He'll see basically the same exact view, and he can review my changes, review my commits. Let's click on that real quick to see it. Okay, so I only made one change. And if you click on a files change, this will show what changes I actually made. So in the orgs.json file, that organization file we're looking at, I just added a comma to the end of that line because that's good formatting for JSON. See, every line ends in a comma, except for the last one. And then I just added org FB group and the Facebook group URL that I found on the website. So cool. So he'll have a chance to review this. If he likes it, he'll merge it in, and that'll be part of the official repository. And it'll have me as having made that change. If he doesn't like it, if there's something he wants to add, he could, leave a comment in here and say, "Hey John, could you add something here?" If he had feedback that I wanted. But we'll leave that alone now. I'll see if Rob has any changes for me. Yeah, so that's us submitting a pull request. And hope this was useful. Thanks, everybody.